Hey guys, today we're going to be showing you how to change your old Pro Controller shells into new ones. We have these new shells from eXtremeRate and it comes in a kit. The kit includes the new Pro Controller shells, of course, screwdrivers and spare screws, all the buttons including the shoulder ones, which we will be changing in this tutorial, and thumbsticks. Yay! As you can see here, we actually took customization to another level by changing out the gold grips that you just saw into white ones. We decided to do this because it fit my aesthetic a little bit better. Now we're going to get started. So first step is to remove the two screws from the bottom. That's one and that's two. This is where I'm going to let you know that we highly recommend that you magnetize your screwdriver. We have a link in the description below on how you can do it. It's going to make your life so much easier, and you're going to see why in a little bit. And you're going to remove the grips, put them aside. Next step is to remove the 4 screws from the back. So there's 4 screws, 1, 2, 3, and 4. This is where I'm going to tell you that I highly recommend that you add a little bit of pressure, but not that much pressure, because you do not want to strip the screws. What does that mean? Stripping the screws means that you've applied too much pressure to it and you are wearing out the actual groove of the screw itself, and you won't be able to put them back. We don't want that, so please beware. After this, you're going to remove the back panel. You can use a guitar pick. We used our fingernails. We did the same job, and why not? We did the same thing with the battery. Perfect, put that aside. After this, you're going to remove some more screws. This is where I'm going to flag another thing, which is to try to keep yourselves organized. Keep your screws in the same little groups that they came in, just to keep your life easier. Some of the screws are the same to the other ones, but some of them are not. And honestly, it's going to make your life easier if you just keep them in the same little groups that they came in, so that you can put them back together in the same ways. Also, you can see here, this is what happens when you magnetize your screwdriver, because the screws just come out and stick to your screwdriver easily. Next up, just want to separate the front and the back panel from each other. Be gentle here because there is a ribbon connecting the two pieces together. That's the ribbon. And that's what we're going to remove next. Perfect. So in order to do that, you're going to take your tweezers and flip down the toggle, that's the word. Pretty simple. After you flip it down, gently remove the ribbon with your fingers and disconnect the two pieces from each other. Next, we're going to work on the motherboard. Be very gentle here because it is the motherboard. It is the brain of your Pro Controller, so you want to be even gentler than you have already been. We have 4 screws here that we're going to remove. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Once that's done, you're just going to gently lift the piece off and remove it from the shell. Gently move it away, and we're going to work on the outer shell now. You're going to flip it over and get the buttons out of that shell, but be more organized than I was because you're going to need some of those pieces. Insert the new buttons in, make sure they're nice and flat in place. And you're going to use the same gray pieces that you already had in your Pro Controller. That's why you should be more organized than I was, because you're going to need those pieces still. Put the rest of the buttons flatly in, and then use the original rubber pads from your original Pro Controller and keep those nice and flat on top like you see here. Make sure everything is nice and flat because you don't want to have to open your Pro Controller again when you finished it, when you realize that a button is not clicking the way you want it to, so that's why this is important to check. Next, you're going to disconnect the mini ribbon from the motherboard. Flip the toggle up and gently remove the mini ribbon. I'd recommend you use your fingers. We were really gentle with the tweezers, but just to be even more careful, use your fingers. Next are the L and the R buttons. These are pretty easy. You're just going to flip it up like you see here and snap it out. You don't have to add much pressure, it comes out pretty easily. This is the part that's probably the most challenging part. You're going to remove the metal rod beneath ZL because that's what's holding that button in place. In order to do so, you sort of feed it out with your tweezers, slowly but surely, with patience, and you'll get it out like you see here. ZL will basically pop off on its own, and you do the same thing with ZR. Nothing is supporting it anymore, so it comes off super easily. And now you have a naked shoulder thingy, whatever this is. Now we're going to put in the new pieces. L and R go in really easily. You can see how L is situated in reference to where the ribbon is. That's where L goes. And you're just going to snap R back into place. Please play with it at this point. Make sure that it's contacting well. It's bouncing the way that you know that it should. And now we're going to gently place ZL in position. Nothing is going to be supporting it here. It's just going to be hanging out. So that's why we have to put the rod back in. It's really just hanging there. There's nothing supporting it. So just so you know that you have to be quite gentle here. Then slide the rod back all the way. Make sure there is nowhere left for it to go. Then you do the same thing with ZR. We're going to show you a little closer how it goes into place. There's a little circle here, and you want to match that to the little circle there. Place it on top. Again, it's just hanging there. Nothing is supporting it until you put the rod in. Make sure you slide it all the way until it can't go any further. And play with it again. Make sure it's contacting well. Make sure that it's bouncing the way that you know it should. And you have officially basically done the most difficult step. You're going to put the motherboard gently. Do you notice a theme? Gentle. Put the motherboard back. Good job. Proud of you. And then place this shoulder thing on top. Comment below what that thing is called. I don't know. Insert the 4 screws onto the motherboard gently. This is the motherboard. And reapply the ribbon. Again, you can use your fingers here and snap back the toggle. Congratulations, you have just finished the most difficult part. Everything from here is smooth sailing, I promise. This step, you're going to remove the original thumbsticks unless you want to keep them black. We did not. We have some cool glow-in-the-dark thumbsticks here, and that's what we're going to put. So we're going to attach the new thumbsticks. Make sure the circle lines up with the rod that it goes in. It can be a little bit finicky, so just make sure they line up properly. Play with it. Make sure it's moving the way that you know that it should. Perfect. And now we're going to reattach the 2 sides together. We have the big ribbon to do that, and it goes there. Bring them close together and have the blue to the sky like an EpiPen. You can see there. That's how the ribbon's going to be inserted. Then you snap it into place, and you have officially connected the 2 pieces together. They're held on by the ribbon, and now you're going to close the shell. Make sure everything is snapped in well. Make sure all the edges feel snapped in. You'll hear it, you'll know. And play with it again. Make sure the buttons are right. This is like where the point of no return is, so make sure everything feels good, because I promise you don't want to open it up again after you finish. I mean, if it's not working, then please do open it up again, but you probably want to just get it right the first time. Reapply the next few screws back, like you see here. Perfect, and then you're going to put your battery back in place. Super easy. Congratulations, proud of you. Awesome, we're almost there, guys. You're going to put the back shell into place, snap that in. Make sure it's snapped nice and snug, everyone. You can see here I'm trying to close the gaps. I actually went in and closed the gaps a little bit more after to make sure it was super tight, and then I inserted the 4 screws back. Isn't it nice when you keep things organized? Nice job. Almost there. You're gonna turn it over and we have our grips left. This is where we got a little bit excited because the original kit came with those gold ones. We tried it on, we deliberated, we checked out what we liked. I liked how these grips actually complemented the buttons and brought out the gold in the buttons. But I really wanted to see if I could customize it further and try it with the white grips, just to see what it looked like. This is the joy of customization. This is why we do this. So we actually slid in the white grips here just to compare. They're also from eXtremeRate. They fit nicely and I loved how it looked. It brought out the design and the artwork even more, so I decided to stick with it and keep it like that. This is the final step, everyone. You want to snugly put those in, make sure it's as tight as possible, and then put the 2 screws back. And then we're done. Congratulations, everyone. You did it. I'm proud of you. I know this was a little intimidating, but hopefully you were able to see it's actually not that hard. We are not professionals. We just gave it a shot and figured out how to break it down into smaller tutorial steps, and hopefully it made your lives a little bit easier. I love how it looks. I tell all my friends, all my family, anyone that's willing to listen to me, my neighbor, my mailman, whoever, about my Pro controller, because I'm in love with it, and I'm telling you, in love. I love how it plays. It plays really well. It plays just like the original one did. Has slightly different texture, but of course that's to be expected. I love the texture regardless. The buttons work really well. I've had it for a few months and it just works great, and it looks beautiful too. The thumbsticks are glow in the dark, which is pretty cool. I love that. And yeah, thanks for sticking around, guys. Hopefully this helped you. Let us know in the comments what you'd like to see next. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. See you next time.